What do I do, Lord?
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
This is their plan, people. These are demons. It's basically an intergalactic invasion into this space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said, it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with. They're demons. Invaders, okay? I'll just say it, make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' humans, okay? Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon. Don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. What you doing?
And ever since I was a kid, everyone said it couldn't be done. My whole life, people have been telling me what I could do and couldn't do. I've always listened to them, believed in what they said. I don't want to do that anymore.
But I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart. I do. I've seen it. You have shown it to me. You have shown this coaching staff, your teammates. You have shown yourselves just exactly who you are in here. from the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows. And if you do that,
Do it.
we cannot lose. How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. We can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. Every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
They don't know your heart.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me.
So come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, and forever. Amen.
And we are live, everyone. This is Jason of the Awake Souls. We are live on the Limitless Channel. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Yeah, so I got to move some things around. I see that Zoom is playing with us a little bit, but all right, let me know how this is coming through, everyone. This is the beginning of the 8th day. All right, Shemini Atzeret, the last day of Tabernacles. When the sun went down, which it just did here recently, we began the 8th day. So there's a number of things to talk about tonight. And yeah, you want to let people know the things that are on our minds regarding the last day, the 8th day of Tabernacles, my brother?
Yeah, there's so many things that we could talk about, but it's definitely written, and it said that Yahawashi stood up and said, on the last and most important day of the feast, he stood up and said in a loud voice, let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. And if anyone believes in me, rivers of living water will flow out from that person's heart, as it is written. So there's that scripture. Then we have a bunch of more. The Transfiguration took place on the last day of the festival, on the 8th day. It's also the day that Yahawashi was named, that name, and it's also Adam's birthday as well. All of this on one day, right?
It's a lot of things to pack into a single day. Plus, we have like headline news regarding these days coming up as well. So lots to go through. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. We're in the Feast of Tabernacles, and for people that are like East Coast, Central Time Zone, we're just beginning the 8th day. So that's going to end at sundown tomorrow. So the time zones move across the face of the earth, and we have, like, some people are already in the next day if they're over in Australia, that kind of stuff. So we have like a window of time. But for us, if we're going by the calendar, as far as when we saw the new moon, the way we count the days, we can see that we are just beginning that 8th day. So we got some high hopes that we're going to talk about tonight for the types of things that we might see coming up here soon.
Well, there's other things that we can tie into it as well. 8 being the renewal of everything, right? That's the understanding. And then it's been occulted into what we use as the infinity sign, turned on its side with brackets around it, so it's times by itself. But the 8th day was always a sacred day. So today is a solemn sacred day. It's the 8th day of an 8-day festival of tabernacles. It's a special time because this is the name day, right? This is the day that you name your child, right? And circumcise them. That's the way that the customs were. But we like, if the father really needed that, we would have been born that way. So we don't put as much weight on those types of ceremonial things as they did then. Albeit your heart is what needs to be circumcised, right? The flesh one was just a fleshly understanding. The truth is you should be constantly reflecting on your heart. Is your heart loving? Are you seeing fruits from your labors? But today definitely is a very special day. I wish that we were all under booths and we were all outside looking up into the sky and talking about the stars too. And we were seeing the beautiful picture that's taking place up there. But we have this X-class flare that they're saying sort of, we don't know exactly at what level they CGI. We can point out the certain CGI cameras, but so the sun did supposedly blast out this light. And so the auroras are supposed to be incredible right now. We're also seeing that the uptick in earthquakes are on the rise. They generally link these two things together. Solar activity gets linked together with earthquakes. So what we're expecting is that the La Palma volcano might explode or crack off or earthquake, and that would create this crazy tsunami. They put out so much predictive programming. The Simpsons, there's been tons of stuff, right? Video games, there's a whole video game with the whole scenario mapped out perfectly. So we're hoping that I don't want to see people die, but the one that I serve resurrects people. He just brings you back. He's the great bringer backer. So we don't have any worry. We want to see the wicked taken out, the destruction of the wicked. So today is supposed to be a sacred, happy day, but I really won't be satisfied until we're fully in the kingdom and all the wicked are removed. Until then, it's war. I'm at war. I'm not banging the desk right now, but I'm ready. I'm always fighting in the spirit. And I know Jason is too. The sheep aren't going to be protected until the wolves are killed. They need to be put down. So, plus this sacred, solemn name day, the final understanding of the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. We've been getting tons and tons of downloads and scriptures have just been jumping out at us in a way that we've never had. So we've been getting so much, and we are told to judge your path by how smooth it goes. If things are added onto you, you're doing something right. If things are being taken away from you, you're doing something wrong. So what we've been seeing lately has been things are added to. So we're just going to continue steamrolling ahead. There's no other path for us. But I just want to make sure that everybody stays inspired. And that's my quick rant to start off the podcast. I just wanted to say, I'm going to throw it back to you, Jay. It's just that I don't want to pray for destruction, but I want to pray that the scriptures are fulfilled, right? The Heavenly Father's will be done. That's what we started off with the Friday Night Lights video with our Father, Heavenly Father prayer, the one and only prayer that we were told to say from the Son of that living creator, the living most of all creation. He is the end all. Like, if you think you're in some pagan religion and you're following truth, you're absolutely as far away. None of the other creator gods, or Elohims as they're called, proclaim to explain to you that they created everything and how they did it from the beginning to the end. Actually, he told us the end from the beginning. That's how amazing this creator is. So I just want everyone to know that, like, Jason and I will be talking about destruction. Water's being shut off, fire from heaven, hail, lightning storms, earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis. All these things are going to come upon the earth. Blazing hot sun. The people that are wicked are going to, the Father will make sure that he does whatever it takes to bring everybody home that he wants in his kingdom. So he'll going to continue to ramp up things until people finally turn and they like submit and say, yes, I want to go your way. So that's it, Jay. I'm done my rant. Thanks.
Well, you mentioned something interesting, something measurable and tangible. And so you mentioned the CME that's being talked about right now. That, I mean, we can bring up tabs and we can take a look. Like NASA is now talking about the CME. Really weird wording associated with it. But so they're saying coronal mass ejection, a halo event. So this is halo. So it's supposed to be directed at Earth. You can see it all the way around, they're saying. And that that whole event right there, what they're telling us, what we should be able to expect out of it is to be able to see the aurora borealis, right? These are the green lights that people will see in the sky flickering at northern latitudes. But I saw them go as far to say as mid latitudes this could be expected. So I'm going to go with, if the equator is 0 degrees and most people are 45 degrees north latitude or less, right? There's a few people that live north of 45 degrees north latitude, but not a whole bunch. So up there is when people typically would see this type of thing. But when they're saying mid latitudes, I'm starting to think, is that between 45 and 0? Are we talking, 23.5 degrees that people are going to be seeing that? Because if that is the case, that would mean that people like us in Texas, where we're at roughly 30 degrees north latitude, would be able to see such a thing. And this would be remarkable, because I grew up in Wisconsin. Ronnie grew up in Canada. We've seen
Bancroft.
Yeah, we've seen these a few times. I didn't see them as much as you did. But
yep.
Go ahead.
No, continue, please.
But there is the possibility over the course of the next couple days. So we have people saying that these CMEs take time to get here from the sun, right? It's not like the 8 seconds or 8 minutes or whatever that light's supposed to travel. It's going to be like 2 or 3 days. So we're waiting on this. We looked last night, didn't see anything. Tonight, we're going to definitely be paying attention. Tomorrow night, definitely be paying attention. We ask that all of you, especially the ones that are at northern latitudes, would be paying attention and see whether or not you see these. Go out and film and record them, because you can actually do it with your cell phone. When the lights are bright enough, you can just point it up at the sky and you're going to have these beautiful green lights dancing around, and we want as much of that footage as possible. Now, the thing that we want to let people know is, just because you see these beautiful dancing green lights up in the sky, that does not mean that all of your electronics are going to be fried by some sort of EMP blast, which is what they want us to believe. So I experienced the northern lights. You've experienced the northern lights without having any of our electronics fried many times in our lives. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we could do it again, but they could pull the power on it, and they've tied so many narratives together that there is actually reason to believe that they may do so. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's not just green. There's also like pinks and reds. There's other colors as well. But the green is predominantly the strongest color in the borealis. And it is something that you guys should watch. I remember the first time that I saw it, I was just a young kid, and I was at the lake at my nan's house in Balsam Lake, Fenland Falls, Ontario. And I ran in her room. I was like, Nan, like, there's aliens coming to get me. I was freaking out. The sky just started glowing. It actually just, it rolled in through the sky, and like I could totally feel something energetically wise. Yes. And I ran in and woke her up, and she was like, it's the northern lights, just go back to sleep, you're gonna be just fine. She always knew the right thing to say, my mom's mom, as long as you weren't getting out of line. If you got out of line, he definitely didn't like what she had to say. But yeah, everybody keep your eyes open. It's going to be a great event. And so if it does take place, then we could see an uptick in I'm drawing a blank. Seismology? No. The study of earthquakes. If we look into the different energetic flows create different crust movements. We've been tracking these things. And I really want to see I want to see everything fulfilled. The scriptures talk about these cataclysms, right? Just great devastation. If we know we're going to be brought back again, we don't have anything to fear. We need this to be fulfilled, because if you guys haven't been following what's been taking place, we can't even bring up any of these words right now, but what they're doing is an absolute blasphemy. It's the worst possible thing you could ever do to populations, is what they're doing. And we're just going to see it burn. Everything is just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. So I would expect to see something significant happen very shortly.
Do you want to talk about Facebook or Metaverse at all, or?
Well, I'm probably going to be making a post actually giving a little bit of credit to Zuckerberg for all the different social media platforms. Yeah. I'm actually going to spin this. I'm not going to make fun of him anymore, because I do feel that he's gone to bat for us, for people that speak the truth. Now, albeit we're in sandboxes. So if anybody on the other side of the screen doesn't understand what a sandbox is, we're all put in different categories. We only speak and talk to people that are in the same understanding as us. They've sandboxed us, is the term. It's like a fake internet, but on the internet. And there's no need to put us in Facebook jail, because we're not actually reaching all the sheeple. That's not the way. Those sheeple aren't in our box. They're in a different one. They get ads and different things for the things that those people like. But Mark has given us a platform. He's allowed us to all connect, all the people that are seeking truth, that are calling out the disinformation and misinformation regularly. And it's probably one of the only things that's keeping people sane right now, having to see that there's others like them that are able to connect. And I think that Mark Zuckerberg has actually went to fight against the SPLC, the Southern Law Committee, and all the different tiny hat members. I've got nothing but credit to give to Mark. I want to be the first one to stand up and do something nice and say thank you, because he's allowed us to reach other people. And in this world right now, that's a huge thing, because everywhere else, everyone's just banned. If I say the wrong word here, I'm going to get banned, right? But I have content on that platform that completely exposes the entire narrative completely. It burns it like ash. It's gone. So yeah.
Yeah, I am banned. I'm banned.
Yeah, you went ultra hard. You were like
yeah, but I do recognize how he's given you the space to do what you've done, because I understand. I've seen what happens to me. I just get banned here, banned here, banned here, banned here. But yet you've had a platform where you can have reach, and so the idea of actually giving a little bit of credit to Zuckerberg for letting that happen, I get it. So we need the ability to be able to speak to people and share the truth. And that's what's being taken from us and stolen from us, which is, it's painful. Like Ronnie's talked about it. There's mental trauma that comes from being silenced and not being able to share the truth. It is harmful to a person's spirit.
That's the downside, but the upside is we do have places that we could do this, right? It's great. I've met so many great people there, so I'm just thankful tonight.
So I want to throw this out there for you, brother. The 8th day has begun. What kind of expectations have risen within you that you would like to see fulfilled for the 8th day?
Well, there's a bunch of things that are supposed to take place. 2 witnesses are supposed to get power. There's supposed to be new names given to people, right? There's multiple different scriptures that need to be fulfilled that I would like to see fulfilled. Those things, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So what better day to start the Great Tribulation than the great day, the great 8th day?
8th day. And then we have the connection where all this is tying in, where it's going to sort of like overlap with Halloween. What are your feelings about, is Halloween like a biblical fulfillment of all this, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, you've definitely touched upon a sore spot with me. I think so there's a group of channels out there, I think Steve Fletcher, but mostly Daniel Vallis from Informed Christians, been perpetuating a lie from the pit of Sheol, saying that Halloween is a remembrance for those that fell during the flood. That's what they're trying to say. And I just want to say right off the bat that it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. They all died. The people that made it through it, the 8, they weren't having no memorial for all those wicked people, right? Maybe they could have had a memorial for Mahalalel and other characters in their family line, but guess what? Everybody, that wasn't in October. Sorry, it was in the spring. It was in Tishri. The flood began and ended in the same month, and that happens to be spring, because I don't serve a fool, right? And that's why I can point out you fools every time you open your mouth, because I would bring forth animals in the spring when things are budding, things are growing, life is teeming. You don't bring animals out into a freezing cold winter. The idea that these men can't even have logical sense does fulfill that men will take to be vain imaginations and hold it to be truth. We are seeing that everywhere, you know. And Daniel Vallis is a very intelligent man. He shows his ability to understand some of the things in the sky, albeit he has a lot of weird symbolism and weird things that he does. He should be able to understand and read and research that. You just need to look into the book of the Cave of Treasures. That's it. That one book. It tells you that the flood began and ended in Tishri. It's, you know, it's not even that many pages down. So you touched upon Halloween. So I want everyone to know, when the question was asked was, you know, does eating shellfish defile us? And the answer was no. Nothing that goes into your mouth defiles you. What proceedeth out of your mouth does, because it proceeds from your heart. Okay. If somebody wants to dress up and they're not doing satanic costumes or lasciviousness type things, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong to get together with people, and costume parties, I guarantee you, they're going to be in the kingdom. People love to do this type of thing. It's when you attribute the heart intention. If you are going out in Halloween trying to be satanic, trying to be lascivious, trying to do these things that the pagans added to the goodness, right, then you are going to pay for that. Your heart is wicked. The words and your actions proceed from who you are. So, like, I really want people to understand that the kingdom isn't some boring, drabby place, right? The kingdom is somewhere that'll be parties, celebrations, dancing, music, everything that's good will be there. What won't be there is the wickedness. So, you know, this hot topic about Halloween, everything that you do, just like the food that you go in, does not defile you. It's your heart's intent, right? You know when you're doing something that's wrong. The Father did say, as it is written, that he would put the rules and commandments in our heart. All you have to do is ask him, and you will feel, you will be convicted with your actions. People will let you know you wronged me. Your heart will say, I wronged something. I've done something wrong, and you'll correct it. That's what the Heavenly Father made us that way. So just everyone, I don't want to see, the worst thing that we can do is fight, right? If we want to fight, oh, yoga is satanic. Okay, well, this person says, well, yoga is just stretching, right? What we need to do is understand, okay, is this person stretching while doing rituals? Right? That's wrong, right? Is this person stretching and breathing and being in one and in tune with their own body? That's good, right? Martial arts. I've trained my entire life. I could kill someone in like 1 minute very easily. That makes me meek, because I would never do that. The more I trained in martial arts, the less I had to hurt people, right? So there's always we have to look at everything in context. And this has been 2,000 years since we had the new commandment, right? It's been 2,000 years we've been living this way, following the truth, following the Christ, doing what he said. Right now we're in a new dispensation. This is the one where everything is being given back. All the knowledge, all the truth, the names, the birthday. Go figure, today is the name day of the Christ and Adam, the first, the beginning, and the last, and the middle. It's all in one. Today is the celebration. I'm going to stop ranting. But yeah, do what you guys want. Just have a good heart.
Yeah, so we are going to go through Halloween a little bit, because this will be the last time we get a chance to talk about it, because then we'll go live on Sunday evening, which is Halloween. So we want to talk about Halloween a little bit, show you the roots, the origins of Halloween. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. There was a couple comments in the chat. We had PJCNet and Abigail. You can't trust Zuckerberg either, and he doesn't allow free speech. So just going to toss in here that we did a hangout on Facebook where we covered all the things that we can't talk about here on YouTube, and it's still up on Facebook. So that right there, I find is a data point where, like, okay, so we can do this hangout on Facebook, but we can't do it on YouTube. It'll like, I would have lost my channel if we would have put that up on this channel, or my channel, and but it is still up on Facebook. So the fact that that can happen tells me that there is some extra leniency there that YouTube doesn't offer. So right now we're streaming live from the Limitless Channel because I'm on 2 strikes on my channel because of cyberbullying or medical misinformation, and none of it's true. We've been doing the same thing from the very get-go, where we call liars liars, we call deceivers deceivers. We say, if this isn't safe, it's not safe. If this is, we just call it as it is. But there is more leniency on Facebook than there is YouTube. So I will testify to that.
Yeah, just to throw in really quick, I keep putting my hand up because I am trying to work on not interrupting. So the stream that we did on Facebook, we tried to do it on my channel, and I got 2 strikes in one night. Two strikes in one night for the exact same content. Right? Facebook has left it alone. Not only that, they let me put up just about anything I want. Right? So someone can come in the chat and say, "Oh, Facebook limits free speech." Well, you've heard that. I'm telling you, they've given me free speech. Right, and I want to be the first one to stand up and say thank you.
But you get thrown in jail too, which...
Yes, I have there's one area that I'd like to bring to attention, and I will be making a post and tagging Mark in it because I tag Mark regularly, and I'm going to explain to him, I already know if we're all sandboxed, if people only interact with those people and the algorithms only feed you their content, there's no need to put people in jail. Now, I mean, maybe there is a way that sometimes people need to have a break mentally, but I don't know if Facebook has the right to be the one to decide that. If Mark wants to go down that path, I'd like to take a look at the algorithms that he's using, and Jason, and someone else, Yahawa's daughter, too. I would like 3 of us to independently look at the algorithm that's saying that I need to have a break. And if that's true, just tell me and I won't post. You don't need to put me in jail so that when people go use the social platform to talk to their family, to talk to their friends, to talk to people they're in love with, they find out they can't do that anymore. You've taken away their ability to interact, and that's spiritually damaging. That is my one issue that I will be bringing to Mark's attention. But on the other hand, like Jason said, I got 2 strikes from one hangout that went up on Facebook, and it's still there. It'll be there even if I go in jail. You can still click on it. So yeah, I want to stand up for him.
Cool.
I want to promote that, right? Sorry.
I was trying to add a comment here.
So I want to promote that. I want
in it, but people can deal with it.
I want other platforms to take a look and see what Mark's doing. He's not capitulating, right? He's allowing free speech still. Right? This is something that should be heralded in the time of what we're in right now, right? In a time of war, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And if someone's going to allow me to do it, I want to give them credit. And I want other platforms to do the same thing. If YouTube would just, okay, I want everybody to know YouTube has taken a huge hit. Okay. We don't see the numbers, but I'm telling you right now, they were willing to sacrifice it. They went all in with, what's her name? Was Chowski? Is that her name? Or is that the creators of The Matrix? They went all in. They censored all the truth. Sorry, Jason. What is her name?
Wozniacki or something?
Wozniacki?
I don't know.
They went all in with her, right? She's a tiny hat member, as usual. But I mean, they've lost a lot of their revenue. They don't have the power that they used to. And most of that power was fake because they were padding videos themselves and creating multiple accounts. So it looked like there was hundreds of people using the platform. I mean, trillions or billions, not trillions, billions of people using YouTube. But there are, don't get me wrong. But if YouTube could just come a little bit back onto the side of truth, I think it would be so much fairer. It would be a much more entertaining platform because now it's gross, right? Like FE is destroyed. It's the most ridiculous thing on the internet now on YouTube. There's no truth. You're not allowed to talk about anything to do with what's going on, which we've been at home for. Well, some people have, right? I'm going to stop ranting. Are you ready to come back on?
I'm here.
Did you want to do a screen share? Because we also got Seth And as well, Joseph Bender was going to join us tonight as well, and we wanted to hear some talk and go over the Yahawashi, how we've added these changes. If Yahawaha's daughter was here, we could get her opinion too. Like, I want to hear from you guys of what you think, because if it was YHWH, you know, we're Yahawa, we don't even have to say the H, but then it wouldn't be written. Like, English is the dumb language that puts silent characters. If something you don't say it, don't put it on the screen. Why would you write it? Why would you even spend that time to put that character down? It doesn't make any logical sense. But that's the rundown of where we're at, brother.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'd like to get through this Halloween article. It's pretty serious stuff, and it's coming up this weekend. I really feel like people need to know and understand what Halloween is, what it's all about. Go through that, and then if during that time you could get the rest of Team Yahawashi in for a call, that'd be fantastic. We want to hear from everybody that we know is somebody serious about the truth. So should we get into a screen share?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right.
So, and I just wanted to say hi to everybody that's watching tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We absolutely love you. And I also want to say hi to everybody that's watching this in the future. We also love you. We are time travelers. If you don't know that, we've been traveling through time for about 6,000 years now. And we're looking forward to the beginning, right?
We are.
This is just a prequel, right? If everybody doesn't know, we're in a prequel.
It's a nice prequel. Well, it's been a tough prequel, but all in all, it should be. I'll be like, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't see your screen share. I'll do the.
No, I have to share it with you. I'm sorry, brother.
That's okay. I'll also get on top of bringing the other characters into the call. We definitely want to hear from Seth too, after his travel home. It was great getting to meet Seth. Everybody, it was. He reminds me a lot of Peter, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, I should say. It was great.
All right, so I'm going to get into this. It says Halloween, a dark holiday. It says every year at the end of October, we are treated to the sight of excited children masquerading as witches, pirates, devils, ghosts, vampires, and other symbols of evil. From door to door, they go yelling trick or treat, collecting candies and tidbits. But is it all fun and games? In this pamphlet, we will look at both the history of Halloween and at where it has led many children and still leading them today. Let's go through the history of Halloween. Halloween is a religious day, but it is certainly not a Christian day. This day has its origins in the full moon closest to November 1st. Now, if you actually look at a calendar and you pay attention to when the last full moon was, you'll see that this right now is the full moon closest to November 1st that we just went through. The new year of real witches and warlocks. They believe that it is time when the spirits, demons, are at their peak power. The origin of Halloween is the Celtic festival of Samhain, the Lord of Death and evil spirits. Long before Yahawashi ever walked the streets of Jerusalem, Druids in Britain, Ireland, Scotland, France, and Germany observed the end of summer by making sacrifices to Samhain. The Celts considered November 1st as being the day of death because the leaves were falling. It was getting darker soon and temperatures were dropping. They believed Muk-Allah, their sun god, was losing strength and Samhain, the Lord of Death, was overpowering him. Further, they believed that on October 31st, Samhain assembled the spirits of all who had died during the previous year. They believed that these spirits had been confined to inhabit animal bodies for the past year's punishment for their evil deeds. They were allowed to return to their former home to visit the living on the eve October 31st, on the Feast of Samhain. Druid priests led the people to diabolical worship ceremonies in which horses, cats, black sheep, oxen, human beings, and other offerings were rounded up, stuffed into wicker cages, and burned to death. So this right here, if anybody's ever heard of Burning Man, all right, being stuffed into a wicker cage and burned to death is, it's Wiccan, right? It's being practiced in the Burning Man ritual, and it actually goes to human ritual sacrifice.
I want to be specific. It's druidic, right? The druids, you can ascribe a lot of this wickedness to this group of druids. They were the ones going around and demanding the sacrifices, whether they gave up the horse, the cat, the sheep, the ox, the human. The last choice was the human. So these people were really wicked, and they were burning people in cages because they have known already their demise. Their future is going to be that for eternity.
This was done to appease Samhain and keep spirits from harming them. Halloween has always been a celebration of death. Now I want to have you pay attention to this. It says this is the origin of bonfires.
Okay, hold on.
I'm going to go against that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go against that, and I'm going to suggest that somebody had a bonfire where they burned a pile of wood in a ring of stones long before human sacrifice was a thing.
Yeah. The offerings were burnt up in Cain and Abel's, right? So that was in the beginning. But what I wanted to say was that bonfires are not wicked, right? You can have a bonfire. It's a bonfire, right? If you're throwing people onto the fire or any type of animal or anything, you got serious issues.
Yeah, so you're going to see the word bonfire actually comes from bone fire. Now this might be true, right? They may have given us our English word because of bone fire, because
they're cooking our meat,
because they're satanic, which was all that was left after the sacrificial ceremonies were ended. Remember, the next time you decide to have a bonfire at a social gathering, see, like this right here,
come on,
it can be literally just thrown right out. You can actually sit around a fire and not be satanic.
Yeah, you don't have to throw people on the fire. You're good. Just wood goes on the fire.
All right. So to obtain offerings for these bonfires, druid priests would circulate from home to home asking for animals and humans. Those who gave were promised prosperity in the coming year, and those who did not were cursed and threatened. So gross. It was believed that all these wandering spirits would get hungry, so you could appease them by setting out a treat.
Hey, hold on. I really want to give people another layer into what we're understanding here. Okay. So there were a group of created beings. They weren't created. They were actually made because the fallen angels came down, took bodies, and had children. The disenfellowed spirits of the Nephilim that were killed during the flood, which ended in Tishri in the spring, not in October, they were the roaming spirits that were looking for the sacrifice, right? Because they were killed and they were angry because the sentence had been passed. So the druids were literally the human soldiers for the Nephilim. Okay.
All right. So believing that evil spirits hate the light, it became a practice to carry a lantern made from a turnip lit with coals from the bonfire or bonfire. As the people went home from the ceremony, they used these lanterns to ward off evil spirits and to mark those houses which were in sympathy with druidic practices. Over the centuries, these customs came to America, and the turnip was exchanged for the more popular pumpkin. This has become today's jack-o'-lantern. There's the explanation of why they used the jack-o'-lantern.
The key was that the demons are afraid of the light. Just keep that in your mind.
When you give out candy to the trick-or-treat mob, you are participating in druidic practices. In actuality, you are stooping to idolatry. In setting a carved pumpkin with a light in it, you are participating in the faith of witches. Dracula, a common figure in Halloween today, does not appear to be from the Druidic tradition. The legend of Dracula today springs from the novel of that title created by B. Stoker. Stoker took some Romanian superstitions and mixed them thoroughly with pseudo-Christian errors to produce the modern Dracula. But there was a real Dracula on whom the superstitions originated, an incredibly bloody and cruel Romanian who called himself Vlad Dracula. Vlad the Dragon in English. His claims to infamy are based on the tens of thousands of people he impaled on large stakes and left hanging in agony for hours before they died, and the hundreds he locked in a building and then burned the building down around. Here again, the reality behind the symbol is anything but Christian. For documentation on the real Dracula, see virtually any historical book on the subject in your local library.
Well, actually, no, it was... Who was on the coin, the Trump with coin, the coin with Trump? Cyrus, right? So Cyrus rounded up all the bad people and he burned them to death in a building, right? As well as people were impaled and put on torture stakes in the time of Yahawashi, right? And before that. So these druidic practices hail from the things that took place, right? They marked the houses because that was what Yahawashi did, right, in Egypt. So you'll see the same stories continuing to play over. It's just the other team continues to do this to the innocent people now.
So here comes the answer as to why the costumes. As for the costumes, they have their origin in Druidism also. The very people who went on the Druidic Halloween were those who were burning animals and humans to death. But these people themselves believe in their own satanic faith, feared the spirits they thought to be so powerful on this night, so they dressed up as if they themselves were spirits to avoid being tricked by their lookalikes. Their costumes also serve to disguise their real identity and throw fear into the inhabitants of the homes they visited. So this right here is probably the true statement. They, it's just to terrorize their victims.
And what entity do you know of biblically, scripturally, I should say, I don't really like the word Bible, that have to masquerade themselves as something else, and did in the very beginning? Do you want me to say it?
Say it.
Gadriel, right? The fallen angel that disguised himself like Eve. So, as well as then they were then cursed. They were cursed to be disgusting, vile creatures. The 300 or whatever, however the number is, that angels that fell were made putrid. They're the ones who need to put the disguises on. Children of the light come out into the light. They have nothing to fear.
So dressing your children up on Halloween costumes is participating in a satanic festival. In fact, what?
Well, again, I have to refute that. Everything comes down to your heart's condition, because somebody that argues the Torah, the 5 books of the scriptures, the Bible, can say that eating shellfish is against the law. It's satanic. It's the same argument here. Your heart's intention is what matters. If you're having fun dressing up, like I said, why wouldn't we be allowed to dress up, to look like other characters?
Participating in a satanic ritual on a satanic ritual day?
Well, I mean, everything goes down to your heart's condition. Your heart's condition. You could do it satanically. You can, but you can also do it righteously. You can have fun, right? We don't serve a living Father that doesn't want us to have fun. He can see your heart's condition. I'm going to continue to say that.
All right, but this right here is, so in fact, Halloween is the first introduction for most children into the occult, and is a major force in the spreading of satanic ritual murder in America today. So for that reason alone, I'm going to say this probably isn't healthy, right?
Okay, so what you're proposing, right, is that anyone that has children, that you don't let them practice in this ritual. That's what Jason's getting at. He's showing you the evidence for why not to. And I do agree, or I wouldn't be here. But I just want to continue to tell people it's your heart's condition. If your heart tells you that doing this ritual is bad, don't do it.
And then it goes on, our forefathers recognized the harm of Halloween, associating it with the occult. The pilgrims ban celebrating Halloween in America. This ban lasted until 1845, when thousands of Irish immigrants flooded into New York because of the Irish potato famine of 1845 and 46. They brought Halloween with them, and it gradually spread throughout the country. So we get to thank the Irish for that. So the Bible versus Halloween. It says, let's let the Bible speak for itself on this demonic festival of Halloween. We have 1 Corinthians, and this is, do not be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils.
Sure. Like it says, don't sacrifice, like these things that we're continuing to tell you. Don't kill animals and do all these gross things.
So
drink blood.
Not good, people. Not good. It's not good. So I grew up Jehovah's Witness, where all these holidays were exposed. They taught us right from the beginning all the pagan origins of them. So I didn't participate in them growing up. I didn't participate in them until I had left Christianity in my mid-20s and had gone atheist. So it was during that time period that I experienced some of these pagan holidays, and now looking back, I can see just how pagan they are and repent. I absolutely repent from it. So there's that. And in just a little bit, maybe we can bring in some callers, but I've also got...
I sent the link.
Cool. I've got Shemini Atzeret up here, because that is the day that... it's the 8th day. They call it Shemini Atzeret. And the interpretation of what Shemini Atzeret means is the 8th day of assembly. The 8th day. The 8th day. That's what we're on right now. It began right now, tonight, when the sun went down, the 8th day.
It's the great day of the festival, the 8th day.
Now, here's a little psyop. It says it is celebrated on the 22nd day of the Hebrew month. Well, no, that would be the 23rd. All right, so because Tabernacles began on the 15th, if you add 7 days to Tabernacles, you get to the 22nd, which makes the 23rd the 8th day. So you cannot always trust Wikipedia. In fact, you have to assume that there's psyop in you all the time. But some of this stuff they have true, and some of it they don't. So it is the 23rd day of the 7th month. So what's connected to the 8th day? Well, this is the last day of the Feast of Tabernacles. So this whole last week, we've been celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles. And now we're into a solemn assembly. And that began tonight. We're having that right now. So I'm looking forward to, as we have people call in, this solemn assembly. I'm going to bring in Seth right now.
Yeah, well, it's great that when you learn that Shemini Atzeret means 8th day, right? So, it's pretty cool. It's probably Shah, Ma, I in the Paleo Hebrew, but we're still working on that language. And we're doing a good job to try to learn a little bit more. I do believe Seth's joined. I think he's got his audio on. How you doing, brother?
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Seth.
Oh, great.
And we have Joseph.
Glad to be here.
We have Joseph entering now.
But yeah, I do want to go on the record and state that I don't think you should participate in Halloween. You can do other things with your time that are a lot more fun and righteous.
And not so satanic.
But you got to understand, I can see the good in everything. So I can tell someone's heart condition if they're loving and you go to a costume party. I don't think it's satanic. You're not practicing Satanism. But I mean, some people do, and that's wrong. So, but I stand with you, brother. We don't need these wicked holidays. We need righteous ones where we celebrate. Like today, the great 8th day is a righteous holiday. It's the name day.
All right. So Seth and Joseph may be getting this mic ready. Seth, you had the opportunity to join us here in Texas. during the Feast of Tabernacles. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, actually. Um, had a great experience going to the Austin area to visit with the team there. You guys, Ronnie, Jason, um, Benjamin, and Brandon. Met all you guys in person for the first time, and yeah, it was. You guys were very hospitable. Um, I flew in, and the airport's probably a good hour drive from your house, and you were well, I actually, the first night I stayed in a hotel near the airport, but that next morning you were right there to pick me up. You went out of your way to pick me up and just showed me around the area a little bit, and brought me back to the airport on Sunday. Just it was a great experience, and the best part to me was just the connections and the conversations we had. We were getting into some really deep stuff, about Christianity and end time biblical events. It was remarkable. I was picking your brains on various topics. I'm very fascinated with eschatology, end time events, and we were really taking some deep dives into that, and brought a lot of new information. You showed us a lot of hidden videos that aren't public on your channel, and some old videos that I've never seen before. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I'm just like, the time, I can't believe how fast the time went by. It was just it was a blur. They always say, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot of like anything special, but at the same time, just the ability to sit down and just banter back and forth seemed to make the time go really quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just, I wish I had more time. Is Benjamin and Brandon, are they still there?
They are still here.
Yeah. So they got really the VIP experience. Being able to extended time there like that. Unfortunately, I had to get back to work, and so it just makes me, I'm ready to go back. And the Austin area, just seeing the area there was really interesting. The food we had was really good. We had the oysters. We had that Mexican restaurant we went to. That queso dip was just off the chain.
Chewies. You didn't even know what we were doing with that stuff at first.
Yeah. It had like this ranch. It looked like ranch dressing. I'm thinking, not the queso dip, but this other bowl it looked like ranch dressing. I'm like, what is that? What do we do with that? But it had like jalapeno flavor, and it had some other stuff. It went so well together. And Ronnie just like dumps it all over his plate, and just really, yeah, that was so good. I mean, you definitely cannot leave hungry at that place. And I was really amazed at, you guys live northwest of Austin. How hilly it is up there. I mean, the hills are really surprising. I had no idea. I've heard you mention that you live in the hills north of Austin, but that was a lot. It was really more than what I had imagined. And there was one particular hill going towards Cedar Park, and it pops your ears. It's kind of dramatic. And so it was really neat experience, and beautiful area. Great people from the people that I ran into. Your landlord, what a interesting guy that is. He lives on the property too, and with his collection of animals, with the chickens, the German shepherds, and the cat.
You know what? You know what's remarkable is he's really come around to actually even flat Earth. So this is something that Ronnie and I started talking about with him years ago, and he's really sort of come around to that, and he's accepting of it. He's accepting of it. So it's pretty neat. The things that have been popping off since you took off, right? Things like the CME and La Palma and stuff like that. I'm curious, what is your take on it? What are you seeing?
Well, Brandon's been talking about the La Palma. He's been watching it pretty extensively, and I didn't pay much attention to it at first. Not that I was dismissing what he was saying. I just had so much going on. But then when you guys brought it up, it became more relevant to me. And then the idea of possible big earthquake, which could lead to this giant tsunami that goes clear across the Atlantic Ocean. And then with the Simpsons episode, now let me ask you this, let me pause here for a moment. The Simpsons episode, when was that aired? Was that aired before all of this, or did they make that episode after the La Palma volcano started to erupt out there in the Canary Islands?
No, I think it's significantly old.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. That is very interesting. I don't know what to make of that then. I was thinking that was just something they made after this became news. Wow, it's like predictive programming. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and we've seen documentaries that are at least 10 years old all about La Palma, the La Palma landslide. It seems to be like the only scenario that's ever been studied in the world for a tsunami creating event. La Palma.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. I want to backtrack for a moment. When I was talking about the food, how can I forget the one evening where we went to Robert's house in Austin? That brisket that he smoked, and the jalapeno poppers that he made on the grill,
it was really
stuffed
good
with cream cheese. That was absolutely remarkable. That was,
yeah.
And then the hospitality that they showed his wife, and that was an awesome experience. That was the first night that Brandon got there, and yeah, that food. I will be thinking about that for quite a while. How amazing that was, and that was such a wonderful evening. Yeah, that kind of to meet people like that. It's interesting how, obviously Ronnie and Jason are like I would consider like the pinnacle of truth in the truth movement, however you want to describe it, being truthers. They're just rubbing off on people they come in close contact with, like their landlord. And then Robert, he's kind of there. Those two, him and his wife, were like, they were hanging in there with us on the truth, and you guys really make an impact on people you come and talk with and connect with, and that was interesting to see also.
Yeah, let's give a huge shout out to Robert and Misty. They're engaged. They will be getting married. And yeah, they did an excellent job. Robert smoked a brisket, had all kinds of extras also to go with it. We all just celebrated. It was so wonderful. It was such a beautiful night. Yeah, like you had said, Brandon showed up. Obviously, Benny Hashine was there. He had a wonderful time. And I want to give Benny and Brandon a huge shout out. They've been like working, emptying dirt around, weed whacking, keeping the place clean. They've been amazing guests. Just giving me absolute hope in humanity to see these young men with such righteous hearts, and you as well, Seth. Like I had said, you really remind me of Peter. You go hard for the truth like a rock. You're just like, you're not budging, and I really respect that about you. And it was great to get to meet you, and you were exactly what I thought you were going to be. Same with Brandon and Benny Hashine. You guys are both exactly the way that we thought you guys would be too. So it's just great that we did get to have this. So your lasting memories was the conversation, the level of parabolic scriptural understandings that we got into off air in person. It's a totally different thing. And yeah, the barbecue, the Mexican food, the oysters, right? We tried to give Seth what we do. We just experienced it with them. We didn't do it. Oh, again, Seth, one of the greatest nights was the night that, so the F1 race happened, everybody, on the other side of the screen. So everything was sold out. Seth had his hotel changed on the flight. Oh, you got no hotel room. There's no vehicles to rent. He managed to get through it all seamlessly, patiently. He found a car. He found his hotel rooms. He did have to drive further, but he had a great attitude about all of it. And we went downtown with stickers because Seth has a printer and this is the type of activism that is in my heart is just like some of the best. We went downtown Austin and we put up truth stickers everywhere, the team of us. And we just wish Yahawaha's daughter was here, and Becca Shine, and everybody that's in the chat that shows up regularly. Tilly, all you guys. We wish Joseph Bender too. We wish you guys were here to do it with us because I don't want the rain to shut off for you guys, but but it was a great time. Seth, why don't you let everybody know a little bit more? And then I think Joseph's here, right?
Yeah. I totally forgot about going downtown. What a cool city Austin is downtown. Just it's so alive and so many, just so much going on down there. And like they closed the street off. I think it's called 6th Street, if I'm not mistaken. It's just like a block party. They got music going on, just food trucks, really, really good food. I had some good food down there. But just, yeah, doing the activism with the stickers. Yeah, it was really interesting. When I was putting some stickers up, and this guy came up to me. He's like, "What are you putting up?" And I said, "No, we're putting up against the situation. I don't want to say it and get a strike, but against the current situations that's going on." And he goes, "Are you paid to do that?" I'm like, "Nope, not paid at all. I do it because I want to." And I'm sure there is a lot of that goes on. A lot of the activist, air quote activist, they're like George Soros funded. For sure they are. New World Order funded. A lot of the fake activism that goes on. But our activism is out of the pureness of our heart and just the desire to promote the truth, and however we can reach people. And memes, the stickers have memes on them. And Ronnie posted on Facebook recently in the last few weeks how powerful memes are, because people aren't going to sit down and watch, typically are not going to, most people aren't going to watch a 2-hour video or read a book or read articles, but a meme will capture their attention. So they are a powerful tool to promote the truth. And so it's a good thing, if you can get the truth out, because that's what we're called to do. We're supposed to be, like Ezekiel 33, we're supposed to be watchmen on the wall and to warn people of what's to come. And because we know the end, and we see the corruption and the things that are going on in this world, and we have to warn people. It's our duty as Christians to warn people. If you have a light, you don't hide it. You put the light in the center of the room and you illuminate the room. So we have to be lights in this world of darkness. And this, as Ronnie says, this realm is gross. This world is gross. And so we have to shine, like Ronnie shined. We have to shine brightly in this darkness. And so I just, I want to encourage everyone to do whatever you can to get the truth out. And also, I'd like to make a quick, I was looking at can I comment on the pronunciation and spelling of the names? Is that okay? Or do you want me to comment later?
No, yes, please.
Okay, so just want to have a little bit of a dialogue on this. That was really interesting how when Benjamin had been hypothesizing or contemplating the spelling YHWH and adding, we weren't pronouncing the we were saying
ha,
Yahweh.
The last ha.
Yeah. We left out the ha. And that brings another confirmation of that was we had, when we were going to the Mexican restaurant, we put Joseph Bender on speakerphone, and he said he was thinking about the same thing that day, which was interesting. Ronnie called it, what is it? Something resonance.
Harmonic resonance.
Where like if you teach mice something, all the other mice start learning it. No, it wasn't harmonic resonance. No. It was something else. Anyway.
Wouldn't let me get to the thing. It's morphic resonance.
Yeah, morphic resonance. Yeah,
Rupert Sheldrake is the keywords to morphic resonance. Studies have been done that once rats in a certain area of the world learn a certain maze, and the time that it took them to figure out the maze, another group of rats can do that same maze quicker. That's what morphic resonance is. So the knowledge that you learn goes out into the air, into the ether of this realm, and other people can tap into it.
Okay, so on the name of the Savior, so the previous spelling, because I see it on the YouTube screen there, is YAHAWASHI. So the new spelling is YAHAWAHASHI. Is that correct? Yahweh.
Ha, and then SHAI. So it's
SHAI is the last four letters. SHAI.
Yeah. So this is a weird thing where we're adding the A's in there. We're adding the A's in for vowel reference. It's not spelled when you do the Paleo Hebrew. It's because it's pictographical. So you just have characters, but by adding the A's, what we're doing is showing the pronunciation as we go along. So in English, for pronunciation's sake, we would say Yahawaha, and then Sha, it's actually SH, but the A is added on the end for pronunciation, and then I is just I. So
okay, so the last four letters are SHAI.
Yeah, the A is just added for pronunciation's sake, not spelled, because the A doesn't have a pictographic character for it like that.
All right, so if the last, all right, so here's my thing on that. All right, so or just suggestion or whatever, just idea. So SHAI. Why aren't we just saying shy?
Because if you look at the alphabet, you'll see that the SH has an ah pronunciation to it. So it's Sha. It's Sha. And then the I is the next character. So Sha'ai. Sha'ai.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So all right, let me give you another. It's another term, another word I'm familiar with that has AI at the end. All right, so there's a cryptocurrency that I'm familiar with. It's a stable coin called DA. It's spelled DAI, and they pronounce it die. So like the A becomes silent. So I'm just saying, all right, so if DAI is pronounced die, like the A becomes silent, I'm just asking, why aren't we doing something similar, like shy, SHAI?
Yeah, it's
It seems like we're adding an unnecessary syllable at the end when you're pronouncing the whole thing.
We're taking it literally from the pronunciations of the characters. So it really does need a video, and it really does need to be tested. We're willing to be corrected. We're demonstrating that right now because we put out the videos saying Yahawashi and Yahawah. And so the silent character is something that we're having a problem with. So in pictographic language, would you picture a character that wasn't pronounced? It's a question. So if you had a picture of a character, would it be something that you wouldn't pronounce, like you'd have a silent character?
Well, I think if you add the I at the end, I think we should consider that it just becomes like one pronunciation at the end, like shy.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
That's what we ran into with Yahawah, is it became a silent character at the end. We weren't pronouncing the H, and the way the H is pronounced is ha.
Because that is a real mouthful. That's 6 syllables, right? If you pronounce the I at the end, Yahawa ha sha I. That's a tough one.
But it could be shortened to 2 syllables, or if you did Yahawa ha sha'ai. It could be shortened to that. But if you were to bang out every single character, yeah, it would be Ya, Ha, Wa, Ha, Sha, I.
Again, we're looking at 3 names, not just one, right? It's not just one name that we're trying to pronounce. It's he exists, deliverer, right? There's 3 names. So Ya, Hawaha, Sha'ai. That's the name. Simple. It's pretty basic. Like when you say Yahawaha, you have to pronounce the H. YHWH. They wouldn't have put the H there if it was silent. And obviously this, I don't know if it was intentionally hidden, but we see it now. And if anybody can correct us in any way, if you could show me somehow that they would, because they didn't write the A, right? They didn't have to. It was always there except for I, right? So hopefully people are getting it. It's pretty basic.
We haven't heard from Joseph at all. Are you there, Joseph?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, no, with the pronunciation and everything, what I was thinking is the way that you got yourself and Ronnie and have been teaching it with the 6 syllables and in the 4 syllables for Yahawaha and Yahawaha Sha'ai. I think that's the best way to go about it, just for teaching purposes, just to kind of lay it all out, each you know what I mean, on the just pronunciation wise. And then like you said, with the pictographic language, obviously you wouldn't want a silent character in a pictographic language is kind of what
that's
what I was thinking
Joseph,
about.
right? Yeah, you're pointing it out. You wouldn't draw the character and then not say it. It's ridiculous.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it was weird that day. I was making a comment on Facebook and I had typed out YHWH, and then I had spelt it out. I think, I don't remember which, but I was thinking that with the H, you know, because all in the tetragrammaton, each letter, each character is the beginning of the syllable, you know, so Yahawashi, and you get to the H at the end, and where is it on the back end of the W, or is it its own syllable, its own, you know what I'm saying? I have a hard time describing what I'm saying sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. With the H being silent and everything. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I was really driving at.
We're just thinking that it probably wasn't silent, that each character had a sound to be pronounced when you saw the character. That's our hope.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
And so this is open. We're trying to refine. We've always said all along that if we can be corrected, we are open to correction. And so this is one of those cases where I think there is room for correction and we are open to it. But at the same time, we want to get it right, where we don't have to just keep correcting over and over, because we make content and we'll use like our current interpretation of something in that content. And then once you go to another understanding, you outdate your older content. So we definitely we want it correct.
Absolutely. Oh, I agree 100%.
All right, so I've got something here up on the screen right now. This has to do with the CME, or the X-class flare that's supposed to be coming here. This is from NASA Goddard. This is official, the verified, almost 1 million subscribers. It says, brighter than a shimmering ghost, faster than the flick of a black cat's tail, the sun casts a spell in our direction just in time for Halloween. This imagery, captured by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, covers a busy few days of activity between October 25th and 28th that ended with a significant solar flare. So NASA is saying that the solar flare is supposed to be here for Halloween. I just want to ask you, Joseph, do you think there's a possibility that they're going to try to tie this all together into some sort of false flag or blood ritual for Halloween?
I do. I think it's very possible. And I was even watching a video earlier today where they said solar tsunami, kind of like tying both of those with the volcano and the earthquake, and that is kind of what, and then the CME is kind of what I thought. It's kind of funny how they would say that, but I definitely think that it's a very, very high possibility.
I do too. And the other thing that I heard one of these guys, it was so many people are probably familiar with the channel Suspicious Observers, so definite heliocentrist, but he kept on calling it a geostorm. And Ronnie and I have a little bit of a unique story with that. So here in Austin, we went to see the movie Geostorm at the IMAX, and it was such a belly flop that I think we may have been the only people in the theater. Maybe there was a couple others, but in a big IMAX theater in downtown Austin. And it was an absolute belly flop of a movie. But in the thumbnail that we started out with tonight, it was Geostorm clips. So it has volcanoes, it has earthquakes, it has tornadoes. It has monstrous size hail. It has scorching sun and like massive cold waves. So all these things we believe are what the Bible foretells as biblical things to take place that this movie tried to co-opt. And I just found it interesting. So you said solar tsunami, and I'm also hearing geostorm. These are like super coded terms that I keep hearing from these people.
Oh, I agree. And then, yeah, like you said, everything going on with the weather too, with the cyclones and hurricanes, like the Antarctic hurricane or something they were talking about too. Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Definitely, in that intro, that was really intense. That was awesome.
You know who helped out with that? That was Brandon that helped out with that.
No kidding?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really, really good. You guys did a great job on that.
So what else do you guys see coming right now? Anything else at the tip of your minds right now that we can talk about without getting strikes here on YouTube?
Yeah, put me.
Hey, I was just I typed in Yahawashi in Google, and there are a bunch of results that come up. So apparently other people have previously discovered this. It's interesting. I didn't see any of Yahawashi, like 0 results on that, but there are thousands of Yahawashi results, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then once you take it to that level, then if you understand, if you have the son's name, the father's name is in the son's name, then you get Yahawashi, and then the Sha'ai we've been calling it salvation, but Ronnie is making a point that it's deliverance. And I'm seeing his point, because none of us are saved yet. I don't believe there's a single one of us that can actually put their hand up and say, I'm saved, because that would mean that you were in the kingdom already. So we're all still hoping for that. So deliverance is really technically a better term for getting into that salvation than salvation itself, because one is an act of taking you into something, the other one is like it's already happened, past tense.
Well, since you brought this up, you sparked my intellect here. The breath just wants to talk here a little bit. So even when we're delivered into the kingdom for the 1,000-year reign, there is still another death, a second death that we then need to be delivered through again. Okay, so this ideology and these doctrines that have been thrusted into people's minds have been absolutely toxic. It's pushed more people away from the truth than anything else. Just like when you hear things like being born again, I'm saved, I'm the bride of Christ. When you hear these types of things, just know that a very wicked group of men sat around and thought of how they could pervert the understanding of the words. So what I'm promoting is that we look at things really basically, right? And we find out that Joshua, right, Yahawashi, the Old Testament, he didn't save the people, he delivered them into the promised land. That's why he was given that name, right? Yahawashi was the one who gave us deliverance into the millennial reign, right? He was the living bread that came down from heaven. If you believe on him, he gave his life. He gave his life. The scriptures will tell you that you have to eat his flesh, or he gave his flesh. He literally gave his life so that your life could be delivered into the promised land, into the millennial reign. These are teachings that are going to be ironed out. They're going to be straightened out. We are the voice crying out in the wilderness. We are making the way straight. All these things are coming back to us. Understanding how Nicodemus asked. He asked, "Great Rabboni," he said to Yahawashi. He asked him, "How do I enter into this kingdom of heaven you speak of?" And he told him, "First, you must be born again," right? What I want people to understand is we've been reincarnating, okay? We over and over again. And wicked men have tried to make you think that that was evil, right? So you just need to understand why some things in the Old Testament were passed down through generations, curses and things like this. We're learning lessons. We've been growing like a tree. We are trees. We are trees. We're animated. We get to walk around. We're created in the image of the living Father, Yahweh, right? He gave us the body, the spirit, and the breath. We have these three things that we use. You could say the spirit could be your consciousness. So I just really want to iron that out. The reason why we don't want to say salvation is because we are saved. This born again stuff, all this stuff is absolute toxic. We want to make it plain and simple that you get into the kingdom by being righteous. First, you must be born through a woman again, he said to Nicodemus. And Nicodemus said, "What? How is it that I could crawl back up inside my mother's womb?" I could just imagine the smile, right? Because you need to understand that you need to be born again through a woman, through a womb. That's the only way in here. You need to be born in, and then you need to be righteous. You need to be born of the breath of the living Father. You need to be a righteous-hearted person. He told that to Nicodemus, plain and simple, yet they couldn't understand it. Well, guess what? 2,000 years later, just as Yahawashi promised, all the knowledge would be given back to us. So I just like to throw that into the ring.
Joseph, Seth?
Yeah, I have a question about the last comments or last statement you made about born again. Just let me get you to clarify that just for a moment. Are you saying that you have to be reincarnated to enter?
Yes.
All
That's
right,
the only
so
way. The only way into the kingdom.
Let me be the devil's advocate then. All right, so what if you were the last generation right before?
Well, you've just touched upon the second part of the teaching. He then went on to tell the disciples that some of you won't die. You will all see the end with me together. Yes.
So the last generation that's born, that lives to see the Great Tribulation to begin, they would not be reincarnated. But then again, we've probably all been reincarnated.
Yeah, but it's almost verbatim that some of you will never taste of death. So the scriptures tell us that there is a group of people that will be born again that never taste of death, which means, so if we come into that end times situation, we have a group of people that they've been born again, and because they're righteous, they're never going to experience death again. So they will make it through the Great Tribulation, be it raptured, harpazoed, lifted out of here, set back down, or just literally make it through the Great Tribulation and never taste of death again, and death will be no more. So we know that the scriptures are talking about a time where there is no more dying. People will either live eternally or they're going to be dead eternally and experiencing hell.
Mm-hmm. Well, so, just to clarify a few things, Yahawashi went on to tell them, go out in the name of the Father, the Son, and the breath, and baptize people, right? And then he told them, teach them all the things that I have told you. And he said, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. Okay. I want people to understand, when Yahawashi said to the people, don't worry about the dead. Let the dead bury the dead. Worry about the living. Because what I'm trying to explain to people is that it says in the scriptures that you're always alive. So even if something goes wrong in your life and something tragic happens and your body here dies, you will be reborn again without tasting death. That's how it works. The Father has the controls. He can just put you into another body. You'll be raised back up again. That's how it works. And the promise is given to us. Those that try to save their lives will lose them, and those that give their lives will save them eternally. These things are over and over in the scriptures. It's just we've had this crazy satanic influence into it. The first place that the fallen angels went was to corrupt the word, right? Not only was Yahawashi put on this torture stake, so too was the word. He was a living parable for the scriptures, right? So we just need to keep all these things in context. And I know it probably blows some people's minds, but yes, we have been reincarnating here the entire time. Together. Go figure, we found each other again, and we will always find each other again because we follow the voice of the living Father. We came from the light, the place where the light came into being on its own accord and manifest itself through our image, guys. We are those living children of the light, right? You can accept it now, or you can wait until we're all gleaming brighter than the stars, right? That's what's coming. I'm just letting everyone know.
All right, so we're starting to come near the end. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about? This is our Friday, beginning of the 8th day hangout, and then this is gonna, the 8th day goes till sundown tomorrow. We'll be live again Sunday evening. Anything else that you guys want to get out for this weekend?
Well, I just want to say that would be really awesome if things get kicked off this weekend. Great Tribulation. I'll be very watchful, and I'll be at work, but and I will be very vigilant, and I'm ready for this to kick off myself. The evil's rising up pretty fast, and I'd like to see the kingdom of heaven rise up and counter this gross world that we're in. It's a really tough time that we're dealing with, and it's just, my mind is blown every day seeing what they're doing, and but we're getting kind of numb to it, I guess. Every day you just see more and more evil, and but I do believe that our redemption draweth nigh, and so I'm very hopeful, and I'm very optimistic. And because we do know the end, we do know how this all plays out. And the Bible prophecies, the prophecies in the scriptures, they will be fulfilled. There's nothing that can stop that from happening. And that gives me great encouragement. So I'm very watchful and trying to have patience for these things to be fulfilled. And we're living in such amazing times to see the book of Revelation come to life right in our midst. That what an incredible time to be alive. We have all the evil going on, but to be a part of this grand finale, this is an amazing generation to be a part of. So I feel very privileged in that aspect, to be a part of this exciting conclusion that's coming at us. And I'm glad to have discovered, you guys in for such a time as this. And, you know, just to be a part of this team and this community that we're building and discovering new truths. You know, what a time to discover the correct pronunciation of our deliverer, of our Father. Perfect timing. You know, it's just impeccable timing to discover this right here at the end. And I'm glad we're getting it right, and we're just pursuing truth on the highest level. And hopefully this it will have some morphic resonance as far as the pronunciations of the Father and the Savior. I believe it will, you know, because we are on the pinnacle of truth. And we're just, you know, we just need to get the word out there, and Yahweh and his kingdom will do the rest.
Awesome. Joseph, what are you seeing for the rest of Tabernacles? We're in the 8th day now.
I'm sorry, I did pronounce the Father's name wrong. I just went on about pronunciation, and I went back to I reverted back. Yahawashi, excuse me.
It's a work in progress. So just like it took effort for us to migrate from names like Jesus and God, it'll take effort on our part to migrate from names that weren't 100% correct. So we're willing to put in the time and the effort and have the patience so that we can all get there together, right?
Absolutely.
Joseph, what are you seeing for the rest of Tabernacles?
I'm seeing, I don't know, possibly all that going on with, I mean, really what I'm seeing is probably the beginning of
the Great Tribulation, huh?
Yeah, the beginning of the Great Tribulation. And I mean, just with all the predictive programming they have going on, and it just, and then like what Seth was saying with all the evil going on and all that, and just everything that they're doing right now. It's I mean, there's no way anyone can continue to live on like this, the way that they're headed, you know. I just pray for the fulfillment of the scriptures, and I'm so grateful to know all you guys, and it's just, it really is an amazing time to be alive. And I just have faith and hold that positivity in mind and that light, you know, and try and shine that light onto others, and that's really it.
Well, awesome. Absolutely awesome. So we're paying attention. We'll go live as headlines require, but otherwise our next planned time to be live is this Sunday evening on Halloween. And remember the early part of the study. Halloween is not a Christian holiday. Brother, your last words.
Yeah, thank you everybody for being here tonight, and everybody that's checking this out in the future. Thank you for listening to us and hearing the things that we have to share. And I just want everyone to make sure that they enjoy the day tomorrow, celebrate. It's the great 8th day, right? This is a very important time. And who knows? Let's just keep looking and expecting for the supernatural. We give thanks that the Heavenly Father's word, Yahwaha's word, is going to be fulfilled. I love you guys.
All right, so we're going to end tonight with the way we started. We're going to go out with the Friday Night Lights, Thank you, everybody, for joining. This has been Yahawashi News Network.
What do I do, Lord?
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
This is their plan, people. These are demons. It's
And ever since I was a kid, everyone said it couldn't be done. My whole life, people have been telling me what I could do and couldn't do. I've always listened to them, believed in what they said. I don't want to do that anymore.
But I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart. I do. I've seen it. You have shown it to me. You have shown this coaching staff, your teammates. You have shown yourselves just exactly who you are in here. From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows. And if you do that, we cannot lose. How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. We can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. Every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
Tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me.
So come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine